Hey, what's up, everybody? It is January 30th, and we are doing another episode of Stand Tall. So, after a little bit of review, last time we were in chapter 7, which is where we're at now, was in July. So, it took us about half a year to get through all of the Art of War. So, what we're going to do is we're going to stay with that theme, and then occasionally we're going to change it up. We've got a couple more in the series to go through. So, Sunday we're trying to do methods of the SEMA, so Sunday SEMA. We might expand that a little bit more because we have one, two, three, four other books on top of these two. The other one of these two is Woozy. Woozy was Friday because Tipsy Friday, right? Everyone goes out and drinks on Friday night. Woozy Friday. But I think it's going to be Woozy Tuesdays. It just came to me, and it's Tuesday, and it's the middle of the day. It's been a good workout, and life has thrown me for a loop as far as responsibility and undertaking, and just everything in that manner has just been a whirlwind for me. So if we can roll into this, we're going to try. All right, Woozy Tuesday, and we're on verse 6 of Woozy. Marcus Wu of Wei said, "Pray, tell us about governing an army, assigning soldiers, and keeping the state intact." Wu Qi replied, "The wise princes of old made sure to approach their ministers in the manner prescribed by the ritual codes, and treated all their subjects with the proper ceremony. They united and pacified the officials and the public. These rulers would set an example while following local custom, and would seek out the best talent in order to keep the state well defended against any threat. For example, Huan of Qi gathered 50,000 soldiers to his command, with which he asserted his supremacy over other lords. Kings Wen of Jin recruited 40,000 frontline troops, his ambitions, with which he realized his ambitions. King Miu of Qin created a force of 30,000 shock troops, allowing Qin to subdue its enemies. Therefore, a ruler of a strong state must understand their population in order to recruit the best talent. All of those who are bold and strong should be organized into one unit, those keen to prove their loyalty and bravery into another. Soldiers who can climb to great heights and cover great distances on foot should be gathered together. This just reminds me of yesterday's about Sun Tzu talking about gathering an army. All those dukes or ministers who have lost their positions and need to prove their worth in the eyes of their rulers should be placed in another unit. Former deserters who want to make amends should be placed in a unit. These 5 different units are the heart of a powerful army. With 3,000 such men, you can break any siege at home and raise any city abroad. Therefore, I just want to go back and circle back to therefore, a ruler of a strong state must understand their population in order to recruit the best talent. In 2024, how do we feel about that as a nation here in America? What do we understand about ourselves? What are we seeing these days? I think it's some of these questions that a lot of us are scared to approach and answer because we're scared of what's in the mirror. So, with that being said, and going over to the Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman, and knowing that we are raising an army and how to raise an army and what does that army look like. Is this an actual book about war as well, or is the Wu Zi something else entirely? Just like the Art of War is not about winning war, it's about how to win without going to war. January 30th. So, what are we amassing this for? What are we gathering? What are we putting together? What foundations are we building? What principles are we following? January 30th. You don't have to stay on top of everything. Also, very appropriate after the story I just told. So, let's find out what Epictetus says. If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Don't wish to seem knowledgeable. And if some regard you as important, distrust yourself. Epictetus, Enchiridion 13.8. That's enough to drive anyone mad. But it's good advice to follow. I mean, I think we know that Marcus really followed that advice himself, by writing all of that down. He didn't even regard himself as important, and he just yeah. So like that's kind of where all the Stoic principles come from. Is this like natural distrust within yourself and this eternal thirst to know and do and act on what's right. It's a growth. It's growth every step of the way. Character growth. One of the most powerful things you can do as a human being in our hyper-connected 24/7 media world is say, I don't know. Or more provocatively, I don't care. Most of society seems to have taken it as a commandment that one must know about every single current event, watch every episode of every critically acclaimed television series, follow the news religiously, and present themselves to others as an informed and worldly individual. It is very hard to do, right? Because of what you choose, and you can pick and choose and have the freedom to consume media wise, right? Like that's why I know that this is at most 27 viewers or whatever, and it's okay because this is very niche. But to say I don't care, my personal anecdote is like this is what me and my wife have the most difficulty with is me not caring about the news cycle because of following the money and the money interest behind it. And also there was like this really awesome TED Talks that, if the news is important enough, it'll find me. Otherwise, I don't need to be distracted by it because there's much more important things going on. So, like for instance, someone asked me today at the gym, had I watched the games yesterday for the playoffs, and the answer was no. I don't follow sports. I've only ever always seen sports as a sales channel, and that's about it. Uh, and not one that I took enough interest in to really utilize in any meaningful way other than just being a fan and enjoying that. But being someone who says, I don't care is powerful, but it is also so powerful it can go the other way. So you have to be careful about what you're not caring about because there's so much that needs to be cared for, and that's marketing. But you need to pick and choose. And so let's take it easy on ourselves. And let's be all right if we just watch a few of these critically acclaimed shows. And let's not feel guilty if we're not working 18 hours a day. And let's find some balance and some centeredness in our lives. But where is the evidence that this is actually necessary? Is the obligation enforced by the police, or is it that you're afraid of seeming silly at a dinner party? Yes, I have seemed silly at dinner parties many a time, many a place, and that is okay. There's a story in college that I'm not even going to go there. It's so embarrassing. Yes, you owe it to your country and your family to know generally about events that may directly affect them, but that's about all. How much more time, energy, and pure brain power would you have available if you drastically cut your media consumption? I mean, how much more could I accomplish if I didn't play video games? How much more rested and present would you feel if you were no longer excited and outraged by every scandal, breaking story, and potential crisis? Whoa, much better rested and able to focus on making money. Proven case in point. Many of which never come to pass anyway. Now, the other problem is, a lot of us, another great conversation that happened at the gym today with my trainer during our workout was about certain conspiracy theories and certain preparations that people make, and what is worrying, what is not worrying, and it's just like how much of that is actually not going to come to pass versus how much do we know is being shown to us and is actually happening. And so what do we do? How much energy and effort do we place into that? I mean, existentially, where is the balance of you need to know how to turn a screwdriver, hammer a hammer, and know a little bit about how to do some physical things versus being a knowledge worker, embracing modernity, and uploading everything into this cloud. So, anyway, I hope that that was helpful as we gather this army, as Sun Tzu talks about, and the woozy, so that we can control our nation, ourselves, our emotions, our businesses, our plans, and going forward. Just know that as a general of your life, number one, right? Jocko Willing, discipline equals freedom, but the general needs to know when to delegate. and all of this stuff, and what to care about and what to tell other people to care about. And so that's the lesson that I'm taking away from this one today.